BLSP stock update. So during the week we got an email that directed us to this link, this Charles Schwab link. It says obviously, as you can see, SEC Rule 15C2-11 restricted securities. So this includes a list of all restricted securities impacted by Rule 15C2-11 change. So I think what it says, amongst other things, is that by the 31st of this month, August, in a few days' time, these securities will no longer be quoted and all that stuff, and it came as an email, and I was expecting to see Blue Sphere there, and Blue Sphere wasn't on the list, the short list that was presented to us. So we now clicked on this link to find out if we can see Blue Sphere here. So let's look for Blue Sphere and see if we can find it anywhere here. Okay, so far we have some blues, so let's look at Blue Sphere. Blue Sphere, there's no Blue Sphere here. See, phrase not found. That is quite interesting. So we all know very well that Blue Sphere, by being dark, hasn't is following what the provisions of the law prescribed, and amongst other things, it's perfectly legal in that position. So the point, that's this is just a further validation about that, or in that regard. So at the same time as well, we also know that it has a caveat emptor designation, and I think it's somewhere here written. It's written that with that designation, it wouldn't be quoted. But at the same time, I think at the same time as well, it's designated on OTC Markets webpage as caveat emptor, but in some other places I think it's really not. That's really not the case. But in any case, the shareholder record count, I believe, has since surpassed 300. I believe we have already past that 300 number, and we can see here on this website, where you'll see the link in the description box below. This link is Lawcast's Corporate Finance in Focus, terminating Section 15D reporting, determining voluntary reporting status. So we come down here. It says determining holder of record, the calculation of shareholders of record for purposes of 15D. And Rule 12H-3 is made accordance with Exchange Act Rule 12G5-1. Generally, such entity or custodian shareholder is counted as a single shareholder. We all know that. Ray of 808 has been explaining that, and I believe he may have come across these all of the information he's been trying to make us digest from here, and indeed other resources as well. So it says here, it says here, generally each entity or custodian shareholder is counted as a single shareholder. That is, a broker, dealer, bank, or nominee may be counted as a single shareholder, even if they hold shares on behalf of several different beneficial shareholders. In addition, persons that receive the securities under an employee compensation plan that was exempt from US registration may be excluded. Securities issued in a Regulation A Tier 2 offering may also be excluded. So the question we asked is a transfer agent a custodian as well? Is it a custodian? So we know very well, yes. Transfer agents keep records of who owns a publicly traded company's stock. Okay, and amongst other things, So I think even if there's going to be an argument that transfer agents can also be custodians, but at the same time, you can also see that there is a function they are doing there. There's a function they are doing there. They are counting the shareholders of record. I think also here on on this site as well, it says the latter answer generally must come from the company or transfer agent. This is as it concerns 300 shareholders as of the day of its current fiscal year. This is whether the but in any case, it points to being a voluntary filer and all that stuff. So it should come from the company or the transfer agent. So I think we're pretty much in line, even though our skepticism is whether, because sometimes you have rules and laws, but where the way they're going to be interpreted by the court or the judges may be different. So that is something we have to bear in mind. So why would a bank, not, but a bank will serve as a custodian, but a transfer agent wouldn't? So, let's just believe that this is it's in line. It's we're in line and we're getting there. So, and also good thing we don't have Blue Sphere on this list. So at least, even if it means we can still buy the stock over the phone, at least we'll continue to move on in that regard. So we all know what's going on. We not too many people can really buy as such. So the stock has just continued to move sideways and consolidate. As a matter of fact, it actually inched up slightly upwards. I think that's the case. And the momentum seems to be inching out of the oversold territory. It's definitely consolidating, and we know that for sure. And momentum is improving. Okay, as investors, the 14-period Slow Stochastic Oscillator is rising as investors begin to purchase shares. So people are definitely buying. So the volume was lighter than usual for that session, the session of the 27th of August. 1.832 million shares traded versus an average of 149.286 million shares. So this is a stock that is restricted, but we are seeing volumes as well. The major market for it is the US, and the folks in US can't trade it, but it still has 149.286 million shares as its 12-month average, daily average over the last 12 months. And volatility, you can see that still stands at 579.82%. So definitely people are trading, and for sure it is mostly people who are buying, because if it's mostly people who are selling, the stock would have dropped off. It would have deviated from the pattern it is right now. The pattern it is in right now is just tracking along its 10-day moving average, tracking along, and for some time now, for the last couple of sessions, up the way up till up for some more than 1 month now, it hasn't really departed from that 10-day moving average. It was just of late that it started to deviate slightly, when it started to trade at somewhere at 0.007 or something like that. So the willingness to hold on is very strong. The willingness, it's highly commendable. We're all doing a good job to hold on to this and get something out of this. So the RSI, definitely, as you can expect, it's not bullish at all. Sorry, not bullish at all. Pretty much bearish. So the unbalanced volume indicators indicating that there is a lack of buying interest, which is expected at the moment. So all in all, fingers crossed. Let's see what's going to happen. We already have the 300 shareholders of record and counting. So we'll see what's going to proceed from there. What's going to come out of that, And like I indicated earlier on in the last video, come that September 30th, come August 31st, I still believe Blue Sphere will still be here. Blue Sphere will still be quoted. It's perfectly. It had an effective registration. They had to, it voluntarily took up the Section 15D provision to go dark. Everything perfectly legal. So it's just of late, it's a penny stock trading not trading on Nasdaq and all that stuff. So some of these rules, affected it. But outside that, it just hasn't really done anything illegal. So the restriction, I believe, is just to protect investors. Even though at the same time, investors are keen and willing to still get involved. The due diligence has continued to be done by people who, by regular market participants, regular investors who have positions in Blue Sphere, who are, very strong and pro environment, who are very concerned about the environmental state of the world. And indeed, so yes, they go ahead and do these due diligences and find out what's going on. Wherever Blue Sphere is in the US and Europe, we already know. If there's a need for us to know whether they're still operating, there are folks out there who are out there, going to the sites and covering, bringing us pictures and all that stuff. So fingers crossed, we'll continue to update you, and thank you very much for watching this video.